Some heroes die trying to save the world. Others die trying to save themselves. Optimus Prime, he dies because someone has to. Before the martyrdom, before the legacy, Optimus Prime was more than a soldier. He was a symbol of wisdom, strength, compassion, and above all, sacrifice. Across continuities, he doesn't chase glory. He bears the cost of survival. Because Optimus doesn't lead for power. He leads because someone must. But in the world of Transformers, the measure of a leader is not in how many battles they've won. It's how many times they've laid down their spark so others could rise. Because the legacy of Optimus Prime isn't written in victories. It's written in sacrifice. And no moment proved this more than his first great fall. In 1986, Transformers the movie changed everything. When Autobot City was under siege, Optimus didn't hesitate. He arrived not to survive, but to save a city on the brink of annihilation. He fought like a force of nature until the battlefield narrowed to one, Megatron. But this wasn't just another clash. Every battle across millennia culminated in this moment, and the price it demanded was paid in full. Because when Hot Rod intervened, trying to help, Optimus hesitated, choosing the safety of his subordinates over ending his rival, and Megatron seized the opening. Optimus died on a table, surrounded by those he loved, but even in death, he gave more. He passed the matrix of leadership to the next generation and traumatized an entire generation watching. One death defined a generation, but Optimus Prime's legacy wouldn't remain locked behind comic panels and animation cells. As Transformers returned to the big screen, so did the weight of his sacrifice. And once again, Optimus fell. In Revenge of the Fallen, Optimus Prime didn't just fight for Earth. He stood as its last line of defense. In the Force battle, he faced Megatron, Starscream, and Grindor. Alone, outgunned, surrounded. He still didn't back down. But when he fell, the world began to crumble. The Autobots fractured, Sam Witwicky ran, Megatron's forces surged. The anchor Optimus had provided, through sheer presence, was gone. His death wasn't just a loss, it was a vacuum, and the Fallen rushed to fill it. But when Optimus rose again, it wasn't for revenge. It was because the world needed someone who never stops fighting and never runs. But not every death came with explosions or apocalyptic stakes. Sometimes the greatest sacrifice isn't dying in battle, it's choosing to let go. In Transformers Prime, the war left scars no blade could carve. Cybertron was dying, its core extinguished, its people scattered across the stars. When hope finally returned, it came at a price. Optimus didn't hesitate. He channeled the matrix of leadership and his very spark into the core of Cybertron, but to restore the planet to its original glory. And in doing so, he gave everything. His voice, gone. His body, disintegrated in light. His spark, fused with the world he fought to protect. There was no battlefield, no weapon drawn, just a choice to offer his life for the future of his people. Because in this moment, Optimus Prime didn't just save a planet, he became part of its resurrection. And yet, even after surrendering his spark to save the world, Optimus Prime wasn't finished. Because when the universe began to collapse, he rose one last time. In the final hours of the first IDW continuity, the universe was breaking. Unicron had returned, devouring worlds not out of hunger, but to erase creation itself and a revenge plot millennia in the making. But when the end came, he stood, one final time. As entire civilizations collapsed into stardust, there he merged with the Matrix once more, not to ascend, not to be remembered, but to wield the last remnants of hope against a god that embodied oblivion. And in those final moments, he wasn't a leader, he wasn't a soldier. He was the light in the darkest hour. He died so others might live. Not just on Cybertron, but in every corner of the galaxy where Unicron's shadow threatened to consume. Again and again, across time and space, Optimus Prime gave his life, not for power, but for the promise of a better tomorrow. These deaths are not just the end, they're fresh beginnings, with hope buried inside each sacrifice. So, why does Optimus Prime keep dying? It's not just for shock, or to sell toys, or raise the stakes. It's because in every generation, every timeline, we need to remember what real leadership looks like. Optimus Prime doesn't die because he's weak, he dies because he's willing. Because when all seems lost, when the Decepticons rise, when the planet falls silent, when even gods like Unicron threaten creation itself, Optimus Prime chooses to carry the weight and pay the price. He doesn't ask for monuments, he doesn't ask for followers. He dies so others can live. He dies because someone has to. And in doing so, he becomes myth, a reluctant legend, a leader whose legacy isn't written in victories, but in the moments he was willing to let go so others could rise. An idea that stretches beyond the pages and TV screens, reflecting the kind of courage we want to see more in our own world today. So what do we make of all this? These deaths, these sacrifices, these moments where Optimus Prime chooses to fall so others can stand. Maybe they were always about setting an example. Because Optimus Prime doesn't just die to save the day, he dies to show us how to live, with courage, with conviction, with compassion. He's not just a leader in war, he's a beacon in the aftermath, a reminder that the greatest strength is selflessness. And maybe that's why he keeps coming back, not just in reboots and not just in sequels, but in the heart of every fan who believes in something better, and that someone has to be willing to fall. So ask yourself, when the moment comes, will you rise, or will you be the one willing to fall so others can? Thanks for watching, and as always, stay handsome.